your boy Joe.
And this your boy Greg. We the co-pilot from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
Yeah, so how's been going down today, Greg, man?
Everything been good, man. Same as usual, man. I can't complain about too much, Same as usual.
Yeah, man. Hard week for me trying to get back adjusted from this cruise, man. So, but it's been a grind, man. But the positive thing is, man, I did a 2-day detox and I feel great, dog. Straight up.
That's about the same I'm on. Well, I can't say it's a fully detox, but I done changed my diet back to what I had it while I was eat more fruits and vegetables throughout the weekday than, I casually do meat on the weekend and whatnot. But I mean, now the meat product I do eat is salmon. I eat a lot of salmon and whatnot, so that ain't gonna change. Yeah, that ain't gonna
Oh, for
change.
sure, man. That
But
seafood, man, it's something about that, man.
yeah.
I'm definitely embracing more of the healthy life going into 2026, man.
But if you catch me at a cookout though, they definitely gonna get me every time though. You catch me at a cookout. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't,
For real.
y'all ain't turned it down too much, man.
Oh, for real, for real. You got to eat that good food when you get a chance, though.
Yeah, yeah, got to, man. I can get like any kind of soul food cooking, you know what I'm saying? But like even like with the like far as like with the grease, I was hearing about avocado oil, canola oil, things like that. So I try to switch, man, and at least try it out, at least try it out. I ain't gonna knock it. So
Yeah, you right, man. Ain't nothing wrong with trying it, bro. And because hey, we trying to take healthy steps every day, man, to live so we can live a little bit longer.
oh of course, all day, all day.
So we're gonna get right into the show today, man, and we're gonna start with the biggest, hottest topic in the sporting world tonight is Bill Belichick being snubbed for the first ballot Hall of Fame. I mean, I think everybody in their mama would think of anything that was a first ballot would be this guy. And for him
Right.
to not be a first ballot guy, man, do you feel like it's a conspiracy, Greg? And I'm gonna just let you go off, man, before I, give my thoughts. So go ahead, man.
Of course, man. You got to think, man. Like they been bringing up on TV all day, man. He wasn't the most likable person, but sometimes you got to get beyond that. And it's pretty much just like one of those things we say, in law, double jeopardy. You know, he was already penalized for, Spygate, Deflategate, things of that nature. He was penalized already. So now you penalize him even more. You get what I'm saying? Spygate only took place during that we know of during the first three Super Bowls or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? During the first dynasty, the first part of the dynasty. You look at the second half, it wasn't never an allegation. Only thing you can well, if you want to mention the Flake Gate, but that doesn't fall back on Bill Belichick. That's more so on Tom Brady. So you gotta also ask yourself, you know what I'm saying, is Tom Brady also going to be penalized as well when he's, when he when it becomes his time to go into the Hall of Fame, you know. And it's like, man, you look if you pay attention to like with the media, it's like it kind of like put Bill Belichick as the villain and Tom Brady as the hero or whatnot of the whole franchise. If you pay attention to how everything took place, like towards the end, like when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick parted ways at the end. And
Hmm.
so, and then for Tom Brady to go on and win another Super Bowl outside of Bill Belichick, they went from saying the Bill Belichick way or the New England Patriot way to the Tom Brady way of doing things, as if like he was the key ingredient. And don't get me wrong, he was, but you have to have both. You can't have one without the other when you talking about the dynasty of the New England Patriots. So you have to look at it like this here. Both of them were just as important as if both of them were just as important as the other. Because if you pay attention, look at the time when Tom Brady was hurt. When they was still able to get 10 wins. Um, and also around the time when Tom Brady first got there, he didn't develop into TB12 at that time. He was still Thomas Brady. You get what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Bill Belichick was able to get the best up out of him. So I think that among the a lot of people when you look at the sports writer, the news analysts or whatnot, amongst a lot of them, even with the New England Patriot franchise and Tom Brady's disciples. He had become a villain, you know, and then, for him to for Tom Brady to go on and win another Super Bowl with Tampa Bay didn't make his case even better. So I think that it's unfair if you pay attention. It's unfair whatnot, but that's what they made him out to be, a villain.
Man, it's very unfair that this happened, man. And I was watching. I know he's probably one of the most hated guys in the sports world, Jason Whitlock, and he had some things to say about it. And his theory was, hey, some of the people that's voting on the got Hall of Fame ballot votes are people that don't like Bill Belichick, like guys like
Correct.
Bill Polian,
He's a name
Tony
that was brought
Dungy,
up.
some of these guys that played against him. So can it be like, hey, they trying to stick it to him now? And if that's the case, then I think that we may have to do some changing on how we do these votes, man. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these guys, man, is past their prime, man, and they're giving
Bro.
these votes, and it's really messing the game up. When you look at a guy like Fred Taylor, that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, correct. Absolutely. Jimmy Smith, you get what I'm saying? I don't think it was more so because, his success in the AFC. I think it's other personal reasons or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? Because I mean, if a guy beat you fair and square or whatnot, or however you want to call it, you could pretty much get beyond that. You pretty much leave those things on the field. It's pretty much like when I catch you on the field or whatnot, you know what time it is. But outside of the field, it's nothing personal. So from a football standpoint, I think that it wasn't nothing far as along, from a football standpoint, but I think it was more so on a personal level. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You say in the media, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He wasn't the most friendly person, you know what I'm saying, especially after a loss. You ask a dumb question, he's going to give you a crazy response. And I think it's the same with you could say that for a lot of head coaches or whatnot. You got to think, man, you got to think the type of guys we dealing with. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you put when you put when you put your heart into something, it don't work out. You're gonna be emotional about it, and that's with anybody. For them, it's football. They put their heart into it. This is they make preparations before the game, and you expect to win.
Hmm.
And when you fall short of that, you're gonna feel some type of way, and sometimes they don't always come out the right way.
Yeah, man. I think for the football world, man, I think we all was shocked on this one, bro. Because I mean, it leads to another question of like, what do it take to be a first ballot? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if you got all these accolades, I mean, what this guy did for Lawrence Taylor career, um, the dynasty in New England, just
Correct.
this football acumen. I mean, when you talk to guys like Lawrence Taylor, they talk so highly of Bill Belichick, like how a genius of a football mind he is.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's just crazy how that is, man. I mean, maybe some people maybe boycott the Hall of Fame this year, man. Because they feel like Belichick need to get in, but I don't know, man. But hey, man, it just takes away from some of the other guys that getting into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Now that this happening with them going into the Hall this year, guys that do
Right.
deserve it, like a Larry Fitzgerald, a Drew Brees.
Right. 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 And it's like, man, when you got certain coaches, certain players, certain people that was part of the game, it just it's automatically. It shouldn't even been a discussion for Bill Belichick. It shouldn't even been a discussion. When it's time come, you put him in there, no questions asked. Somebody might have to get bumped down, but that's just the nature of it. He's going to take somebody's place or whatnot. And I'm pretty much it was the same thing when you look at with Michael Jordan, and it should be the same for Tom Brady as well. When his turn to come up for the Hall of Fame, he should be a first ballot, no questions asked. Regardless of everything that took place, man. You know what I'm saying? You can point to, and me, I critique the New England franchise on Spygate, Deflategate, things of that nature. Even when you go down to like some of the biased calls that was called or whatnot. But nevertheless, when you look at when you determine the greatness, greatness is always what's on what the things that's on the surface. You get what I'm saying? Those things that they're judging him on are things that are beneath the surface or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like I say, man, when those things came out, they was penalized. They was penalized a first round pick. They was penalized a second round pick. Tom Brady, he had to do like 4 game suspension. So it's like, how many times you gonna punish, a coach and a player for the same thing over and over again? It's like it should be over with. I understand you want to look into that, but this wasn't their entire legacy. If this was their whole entire their whole entire legacy, then I understand it. But you cannot look at the New England Patriot franchise and judge them based off that era. You get what I'm saying? Also, you have to look at, when people thought the New England Patriot dynasty was over with and they came back and won 3 more rings or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention the AFC championship appearances.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's unfortunate, man. We'll be looking out on this thing though as the Hall of Fame approaches this year, and if we'll see who gets announced because they're gonna announce the names Super Bowl, so
Right.
we'll find out who getting in, and if Bill Poland get not Bill Poland, I mean if Robert Kraft get in the Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick, man, I think it might be a little smoke to that.
it,
So
it will be crazy, man. You got to think, man. Sports has become very political. Um, football,
indeed, indeed,
basketball,
indeed.
boxing. It's very political. So it's like, I expect things like, but not to this magnitude like this. Bill Belichick. Like when I saw the news, I'm like, what? There got to be a typo. There got to be a typo or something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So speaking of coaches, man, we're gonna segue into our next topic of the night, and we're gonna talk about some new head coaches that got jobs. You know what I'm saying? Notably, think the one biggest one, Kevin Stefanski with the Falcons. You got Robert Saleh getting the job with Tennessee. You got your boy Brian Dable as his offensive coordinator, and he brought in someone else as his quarterbacks coach, I believe, for the Tennessee Titans. And then Jeff Hatley, I believe, got the job in Miami. Who got the Raiders job? I forget who got the Raiders job.
If anybody even got that
I don't know if
job
the
yet,
Raider job
I
even
don't
filled
even
yet.
know.
And
Yeah, I
then
don't even.
the Browns job filled with Todd Monken, Steelers job, freaking Mike McCarthy. So we had a number of jobs in the NFL. So my question, you Greg, of all these new job hirings, man, which one is the most intriguing, and which one of the ones you think can have the most success early on, and which one you think might be a shitstorm?
Um, I would have to go with the most success, man. I would have to say I want to say Buffalo because of this, right? Anytime you have a
Go ahead.
quarterback, and it is not to say anybody was going to win, but win the Super Bowl, like one of these coaches is going to win the Super Bowl, anything like that. Um, I mean, you got what you need already. You got a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's a recipe for any team to have your team being competitive, you whatnot. Buffalo pretty much got a decent team that you can add to and make better. So and not to say that McDermott was a bad coach. I thought McDermott was a great coach. It's unfortunate that they didn't make it. Um but somebody got to be the fall guy. But I think that he's going into the best situation. Now, although it's going to be a lot of pressure with that job because I mean, this team they done seen the AFC championship multiple times and fell short of making it to the Super Bowl. So we know that just making it to the playoff is not the goal. Just making it to just making it to the AFC championship is not the goal. the goal for this team is the Super Bowl, man. Going, you know what I'm saying, and winning it. So I think that he has the most pressure on him, but I think he's going into the best situation. Um, Also you have to look at one of the most intriguing ones, man, and is Robert Saleh. And not because, not because it's him, but because of, the situation that happened last with Jag when we went to San Fran, and he's going to the Titans. Now, anytime, you have the Jags and the Titans, there's always bad blood with that game right there. And as Jags fans, we feel some type of way about the Titans and
Hey, you
whatnot.
already know
Ever
it.
ever since they beat us, they beat us
1999, dog.
ever since that 1999 season, and they beat us 3 years. They beat us 3 times. The only team to beat us that year, and they stopped us from getting into the Super Bowl. So it's always bad blood when it come to them. You know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So Robert Solomon and Liam Cohen, they incident that happened last year at San Fran. So now he's the head coach. Keep my name out your mouth. That incident.
Right.
So that's going to be very intriguing, man, to see how
Yeah.
that go down, man. You get what I'm saying? Because you got Robert Solomon seemed like he a tough guy. You get what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
mean, he come out there with the ball head. He's a defensive coordinator. He got the most out of his defense. You know, regardless of the injuries and everything. In spite of the injuries, he got the most out of that
I
defense
don't mean to cut.
this
I
season.
don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna let you go. But Robert Saleh was on the Jacksonville Jaguars staff at one point back in the day, right?
I think somebody told me that. I don't actually
I think he
remember
was
him being
on
there.
Gus Bradley staff. I think he was on either Gus Bradley staff or the one before that. He was on our staff though. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna play out, man. You know what I'm saying? Those two teams right there. And I think, man, looking at how Cam Ward played towards the end of the season, man, he might have him something there. Tennessee looked like a better football team towards the end, man. They could have possibly beat us if Cam Ward. No, you see how that game started out.
Yeah, it
You
did.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
see how that game
For sure.
started out, man.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked it bad at first.
yeah. Granted it was the first drive or whatnot, but we know that well, like, man, Tennessee started playing better towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they did. And for me, man, when I look at the intriguing job, oh, you got one more before I go into my take. Which one do you think the worst of all of them?
The worst,
Yeah.
oh man, dang, it's hard to say, right? Because um I would say I wouldn't say the worst, but the one that has like the least fizzle on it is oh man, I
You
want to
want to
say
say it, but
Cleveland.
you can't get
I
it off
want
the
to
tip of
say
your tongue.
Cleveland because you know, I because you got to think a lot of people withdrew for that job. All OC withdrew from that job or whatnot.
Hmm.
A lot of people withdrew from that Cleveland job, man. And so you got to think, man, it's more going on than what we seeing out there. You know what I'm saying? So that one could be like possibly the worst situation, and it's probably another one. That's the one that come to my head right now. You know, um, it's still to be determined what you're going to get out of Shador Sanders. It's you don't know what you're going to get with Dylan Gabriel. You still got that situation looming. And you got Deshaun Watson. You know, I you know, I mean, I thought they'd be them pulled the plug on Deshaun Watson about now, but they haven't. You know, but phew, man, it's crazy, man. That's probably the craziest situation to go into, man. The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, man, I agree with you on that one, man. So for me, man, I would say the one that I feel like was going to have some instant success, and I'll follow up with this again. I think John Harbaugh going to the New York Giants. I think that's a good one too as well.
Oh yeah,
Going to John Harbaugh going there. You got a young quarterback in Jackson Dart, a loaded defense. We see Dexter Lawrence. Thibodeau. You got Dual Carter. You got, I mean, your front four, Brian Burns. You got some guys up there. So I mean, with a
right.
front four like that, coach like what they have, who can known for building some good defenses. I think that he's in a good spot. So I think that's the most one with insight. The one that's probably the most intriguing to me right now, it would be the Pittsburgh Steelers job. With them hiring Mike McCarthy, we know that he can win some games. You get what I'm saying? He's a good coach. I'm not gonna take the route like some sports media analysts and say, oh, the guy's not a winner because he didn't win in Dallas a playoff game. The guy won a Super Bowl, so we got to get that man that credit. And
Right.
so I just think this is the most intriguing job because you got a veteran led team, you got a veteran led coach. Can he come in there and get the most out of this group? What they do with Aaron Rodgers, he stay on the roster. You know what I'm saying? What you do at the aging defense, these guys like Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, these guys are getting old. So that's probably the most intriguing. And I would say the one that's probably the most bad job right now to take. I gotta take a clip on the Cleveland Browns as well, man. I mean, Todd Monken. Not saying this guy is not capable of a job, but I don't think none of us expected that guy was going to get a damn job. You feel what I'm
Mm.
saying? You know, and so for him going into a situation that's very crazy, quarterback room crazy, like you said, um, what you're going to do, but you do got draft capital, so that's the bright side of things. But you got to land on the pitch. That's what it's going to be. So I mean, that's
Right.
probably the most dumpster fire job. And then I would say honorable mention probably be the Raiders as well, man. They don't. I don't know what they're gonna do at quarterback position. Do they take freaking what's the guy?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mendoza, you better take him.
Mendoza. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
better
So it's
take him.
like, so that probably those two are probably the two worst situations, man. In my
Yeah.
opinion, as head coaches.
Like it's not even a discussion. I'm taking Mendoza like straight up. Like after seeing, especially you a team that need a quarterback, and especially what I seen, not just in the national championship, throughout the whole playoffs or whatnot. Man, the dude seemed like he can play, man. Like he understand the game. I'm not gonna say that he's just gonna be this guy that gonna light it up and everything, but coming out this year, man, I think that he's pretty much your guy. Like he seemed like one of those guys he would like he seemed like he's worth taking a chance on whatnot.
Yeah, man, we'll see, man. But I'm we'll see how you look, man. I think right now, it's still kind of. I want to see how the combine look before I make my assessment. If
Yeah.
he's gonna be that guy. But we'll see here in the next couple weeks once they start the combine and we start watching that. And speaking of combine things like that, let's go talk about the Super Bowl, man. The next big thing, Super Bowl. Two teams that I think uh had high expectations going into the season. There was a lot of question marks on both of these teams going into the season, how they would respond. Second year head coach McDonald, first year head coach Mike Brable, uh, and just how the young Drake man in his second year has done his thing, been the ultimate team leader, willing his team to a Super Bowl, getting to a Super Bowl before guys like Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence, who's been in the league longer. And so
Yeah.
it's like, man, it's good to see the space that we in Super Bowl. I'm excited to see in the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold, somebody that you've been high on, man, and hey, man, that boy made it to the Super Bowl, man. So I'm gonna let you go, Greg.
Well, my thing, like, I was really more high on the team than actually Sam Darnold. My thing was that, which Sam Darnold we gonna get? If we're gonna get the same Sam Darnold that we've been seeing throughout the regular season, oh yeah, then I like the chances. But we could not see the Sam Darnold from last year that, first time in the playoff that, you know, that looked bad. So and I think he came up, man, he made some big plays. He made some big plays, man. So I gotta give him that, man. He was on well, that was the biggest stage he ever been on. Now he's getting ready to go to the Super Bowl. So you got them against the Patriots, man. That's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good game, man. You know what I'm saying? Um I think with this game, I gotta look at the defense, man. Um, I gotta go with the one of the things that I say the deciding factor, man. I gotta go with the defense. I think Seattle is the better team, a better team than New England. You look at New England, the offensive side of the ball, they got Diggs. He's a good receiver. He still can play at his age. Um, you look at the defensive side of the ball, man. You got Christian Gonzalez, man. Um, Balmo, and you got Chasing. You got some dudes over there that can play on defense. But when I look at Seattle, man, I'm looking at, man, this team can possibly be Legion of Boom 2.0. If you look at their secondary, they already had Tyreek Woolley, you know, then they got the other cornerback, Witherspoon,
Witherspoon.
then they got Eman Worry, man, and he's a rookie. So you look at, man, how this defense look, man. I'm talking about, man, they are, man. You look at that secondary, man. Them dudes can play back there. So I think like I say, man, I like them against New England. And also you look at their offense. Like I say, man, you got
Jackson
you
Jigman
also
Smith.
you got and Cooper Cup. You got Jackson the Jigma Smith, Cooper Cup. Um Coming out the backfield, came from Michigan State.
To my Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet hurt, but I think Kenneth Walker can carry the load. He's pretty much improved himself to be an every down back. So I think, man, when you look at that team top to bottom, man, I think that they the better team, man. You gotta take your hats off, man. They head coach, man, first year head coach. He doing his thing with this team, man. He's doing his thing with them.
Yeah, man. When I look at this game too, I look at the Seahawks as a better team as well, man. And for all the reasons, the same things you mentioned, man. Now I do give the Patriots a puncher's chance because I think when you look at a guy like Mike Vrabel, head coach, he's got a little bit more experience than McDonald, who's still a fairly young coach, and I think in these type of situations, he will have his young quarterback ready. Hey, our defense is good enough to keep us in some games. Hey, all we got to do is not turn it over. And maybe
Right.
Drake may can have a Brady like Super Bowl like he had when his first beginning on, where he's not required to like really lead the team. You know what I'm saying? They leaned on the defense in the championship game, and so I think that's going to be the recipe for success for the New England Patriots going into this game. But again, that the Seahawks, they got a great defense too, so and they can produce turnovers. They've been getting turnovers in every. I want to say they got a turnover in every game this year so far. As far as interception, fumbles, or they've made turnover worthy plays or something like that. So I mean, yeah, man. So it's gonna be hard to do against this Seahawks team, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well, man. I think they get the Super Bowl again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, you know, winding down the year, what would you say? What was your most surprising moment of the year outside of the Jaguars going to the playoffs and what the Jags did? Outside of Jaguars team, what would you say was the most surprising team of this season for you, Greg?
Surprising team. I'ma say, man, I probably would have to go with the Seahawks. Well, for them to make it, I didn't expect them to make it to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a bunch of surprises, man. The KC didn't make the playoffs. Forget they didn't make the Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Um, who else I gotta look at, man? It was a bunch of surprises, man. When you see the quarterback, like the number of quarterbacks. Like, I mean, you gotta also look at I'm gonna say my biggest surprise though. I gotta say this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Carolina. And the reason why I say Carolina is my biggest surprise, man, you got to look at how they ended the year, whatnot, against the Jaguars. They got blowed out. Started the year the same way. It was a closer game going into this year, but that was one of those games we came in, we know we gonna win and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If we would have played them later down the stretch, I wouldn't have been so certain that we were just gonna mollywop them like that was an easy win. Now,
Mm-hmm.
do I think we have a better team than them? Absolutely. But at the same time, it wouldn't have been as easy as it was in the first game. So
Mm-hmm.
I say that was one of the biggest surprise. Not that they turned the lights on, but they also won the division. You know what I'm saying? They beat out, they won the division, a team with Atlanta. a more
Mhm.
talented team. Um, got doggone Tampa Bay, a more talented team. You know, um, the Saints even started playing, but they was a better team than the Saints. But the Saints was a better team. Tyler Sloth, man, he played better down the stretch. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right. He
He
did.
played he played better down the stretch as well. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really expect too much out of him, but he played good down the stretch. But that's pretty much I would say really though, man, Carolina probably had to be my biggest surprise for them to just to make it to the playoff, and and it was a chance they could have won the first game. They could have won the wild card round.
Yeah. So my and I think my biggest surprise this year probably would have to be the Chicago Bears, man. I'm gonna put them in there, man. Uh Ben Johnson, first year head coach. They actually won a playoff game. I didn't see them, win the playoff game. So that was probably my biggest surprise. Probably the biggest disappointment, probably was the AFC North. I mean, as a whole, was probably the weakest conference. I mean, for so many years, we praised this conference as the most physical, toughest conference. And I mean, that was probably one of the worst conferences. Played some of the bad football that we've seen in the division, in that division. So my biggest disappointment was the AFC North, man. Uh, and yeah, man. But yeah,
Mhm.
so let's segue into our next topic of the night, and let's talk about the fight, man. Big fight this week, upcoming weekend. Shakur Stevenson, Tefino Lopez. I don't know if I said that right. And
Teofimo Lopez, yeah.
yes, and yeah, man, it's gonna be a good fight, man. Fight that I think a lot of fight fans wanted to see two big names in the ring, and it's gonna be an interesting fight this weekend, man. I'm gonna let you take off, Greg.
Man, I can't wait to see this fight, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna be live up to the standard that a lot of casual fans may want to see or whatnot. Um, for us, like with the knockouts and the high volume punching. But for me, I think it's gonna be a good fight. You know, like I said, I'm a fan of technicians. Though that's my thing. I like to see technicians, and I think both of those dudes are technical guys. They both of them are great defensive boxers. So, and I think you're going to see a lot of that, man. You may not see a lot of punches get landed, but I think that both of those guys is going to be in the fight and they're going to engage. And that's the thing we have to pay attention to before we start saying, "Oh, this guy was running," or "the fight witness is good," or whatnot. It, we have to ask ourselves this: do the fight have engagement? You know what I'm saying? And I think that both of them, you know what I'm saying, they're going to engage well against each other. Um, it's not a lot of bad blood with this fight or whatnot. So, a lot of people probably not going to be talking about it, but you do have the names out there. Stevenson, he's a great fighter. Teofimo Lopez, he's a great fighter. Stevenson moved up in weight. I think this fight is going to be at 140, somewhere up in there. So, yeah, and I think that, man, you can get close. It may be like I say after this fight, man. You may see Stevenson fight Haney if he was to win. I know that was a fight he wanted, but the contract wasn't to his liking. But for him to establish his name or whatnot, man, he's gonna have to keep winning, man, because a lot of people, like I say, he's I'm gonna say that I think fighters are ducking him. I'm gonna say this here. You know what I'm saying? And you
Judge
can put
Stevenson.
yes, because they know that it's not gonna be an easy fight. A lot of people want to use this narrative that, oh, it's not going to be a good fight, it's not going to generate money. If you are a household name in the world of boxing, your name alone is going to generate money. His name is going to generate more money than some of these other guys that these dudes are fighting. So, and not saying that they feel is that they're going to lose, but they know that it's a chance that they could lose to him or whatnot. He's not going to be an easy dude to beat, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that they know this. He can get a fight off their game real quick. It's the same thing with Floyd. A lot of people don't like when we make the comparison to Stevenson and Floyd, but their fight style is pretty similar. When you can't hit a target fighters tend to get frustrated. And especially when they are a fighter that rely on a knockout, their power, you know what I'm saying? Stevenson, he's gonna fight. He gonna, like I said, if he would knock you out if he can. But his thing is he's gonna box, collect points. You know what I'm saying? And when the knockout presents itself, he's gonna go for it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about Shakur Stevenson, man. I think a lot of boxing fans, that don't like it. Just that's his style, man. But
Right.
I feel like Stevenson, man, he can go in the ring, and I think on his last fight, he showed that he can go, he can take hits and he can go toe to
Yeah.
toe with a guy, man. So I think I think more of this fight, man. This is more of a Shakur Stevenson, man. He want to let the world know that he want to be included in that pound for pound conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
When they
yeah.
talk about some of the best fighters. And I think this is gonna be a fight, another fight that's gonna be another step close. I got Stevenson winning the fight. Uh, and I think it's going to be a good fight, man. I don't say it's going to be like a close. I don't think it's going to be like a close fight. I think Stevenson dominate this fight.
Oh,
Lopez, I think it's going to be too much for Lopez, but
I
I
think
don't
it's
see
gonna
a
be.
knockout happening. But I think Stevenson, the defense, the
Mm.
counter punching, I think he'll win that.
I think it's gonna be a close fight. You know what I'm saying? But I think, man, Stevenson need this fight for this reason right here, man. Um, I think. Well, I was talking. I just started talking about Devin Haney, but the fight that probably going to be the next fight for him if he was to win this one is probably going to be Conor Ben. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, Conor Ben had moved up and fought. He fought overseas. He fought the I can't think his name right now, but he dominated that fight from top to bottom. And they had when they was on the podcast or whatever it was or whatnot, they was going back and forth or whatnot. And pretty much, man, that's the fight that people would love to see, man. Both of those two get in the ring, man. Conor Ben and Shakur Stevens, and I think that that's more possible than some of these other fights because you look at Tank Davis, he got issues going on with the law, whatever it may be, and you got Devin Haney. I don't know how things going to go. He issued the contract with a year or two ago, it didn't go as planned, and I think that he's looking to fight. I forgot who he's looking to fight, but he got his eyes elsewhere. So I think that fight there is more the one that I can see happening, you know what I'm saying, the more possible fight happening is if Stevens was to win, if he win this Saturday, him versus Conor Ben.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned, man, this is Stevenson, man, he got got to win this fight, man. Because I think now in the social media age, man, when you talk on social media, man, you got to be able to back it up. And so
Right.
far, Stevenson have backed it up. He's been backing up every fight, man. And I think he's gonna back it up on this weekend against
Right.
Lopez, man. He gonna do his thing, man. I don't see him losing this fight. I think he dominate, man, just like he won in the last fight, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I did not know that. That's some new information for me that you sprung on me about that. They that fight was supposed to happen 2 years ago between Stevenson and Haney.
Haney. I ain't gonna say it was supposed to happen, but he issued a contract. Matter of fact, we talked about that on here.
Oh, for real?
When he
Probably,
turned down the
yeah,
contract,
man. Okay,
cause you say, dang, he probably ain't gonna get a big fight like that because he turned down that fight, and he also turned down it was somebody tried to give him a 2-year fight contract or something like that there. And I
hmm.
say, man, he's pretty much betting on himself. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah, yeah.
saying?
We
Which
did. You right. You right. You right.
Yeah,
You right. You did say
and
we
which
talked
I
about that though.
think that was a
I'm
smart
saying
move because like I say, man, they'll try to lowball you whatnot. So sometimes you got to show them like, hey, man, I can draw names, I can draw viewers or whatnot. You
right.
know, then too, like you say, man, you end up getting that big fight. You know what I'm saying? Now your name ringing, his name ringing now, of course.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, and I think him being in that circle, Bud Crawford, with
Marissa Shields.
Keyshawn Davis, Carissa Shields or whatnot, they gonna that's gonna boost it up even more whatnot. I think that's a nice little circle that they got right there, man, amongst them four right there.
Yeah, man. I was actually watching something today about, or the other day. Well, it was just the other day. Shakur Stevenson was talking about that, how much Terrence Crawford been supporting him ever since he was like,
Oh yeah,
for boxing for a long time. And I guess like a lot of people now, like, oh, they didn't they start to notice the relationship. And he was like, man, he been doing that for years, man. They
yeah,
been cool. It's been like his little brother,
yeah.
little
And
brother, big
Keish,
brother type thing.
I think Keyshawn Davis on that fight card too, man.
Oh,
I
for
think
real?
he's on that. Yeah, I think he. I want to say he moved up because I think he moved up. You know what I'm saying, in weight because he didn't make weight last time. That's how he got the belt taken away from him, whatnot.
Right,
And it was unfortunate because it was in his home state. He just wanted to fight, and he got defend. He wanted to defend it in his home state in North Virginia,
right.
and it didn't pan out. But like I say, man, he get a shot at redemption this weekend. I don't know if it's a title fight, but he's back in action. That's something he wanted to get back in action and everything like that, though.
Yeah,
So
man. Hey, you seen news that Fury coming out of retirement? He got a fight coming up.
I seen something like that. I didn't get a chance to look into it or whatnot. Um, but yeah, I did see that though. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know whether it was speculation or what it was, you know what I'm saying?
I read a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It was on ESPN. They had it up there saying he's supposed to be fighting sometime this year. Coming out of retirement,
Okay.
coming to do it. He's gonna be a fight. So we'll
Tyson
see how
Fury.
that. Tyson Fury, yeah, man. So
Right.
you know,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying. And is that fight gonna happen with with Wilder and Usyk?
Um, Usyk wanted to fight, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is. Um, I'm gonna tell you a fight that I want to see, man. A fight that I want to see, man, and it is David Benavidez and against Ben Whitaker. That's a fight I want to see right there. Now, like I said, I like David Benavidez, man. I think he's more proven, but Ben Whitaker, man, I like his fight style. He's a one of those fighters. I think he's from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't they talked about that fight. He said that's a fight that he wanted or whatnot, and I'm pretty sure that they can make that happen with ease or whatnot.
So
But
you like UK fighters, man?
I
The
like
last
fighters,
good
period.
UK fighter to me, in my opinion, was Lennox Lewis.
Right. I like fighters, period, man. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of these dudes, I don't really know where they from until after. You know what I'm saying? Connor Ben from
That's it.
over there. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And Connor Ben a tough dude. So I like I say, I like fighters, period, or whatnot, man. A lot of times I don't even know where they from until they say it. Like, okay, you from over there? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know Ben Whitaker was from the UK. I thought he was from here until I heard him talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I feel you.
yeah, so I definitely would love to see that fight right there, man. See how I play. Because I never got a chance to see Ben. I done saw him fight, but I didn't see him on it. We haven't seen him on the big stage yet. You know,
Gotcha.
a lot of people feel as though he's fighting scrubs and things like that. There. I want to see the fight, man. He's I like his style or whatnot. He kind of remind you, people gonna say it's gonna cause a knee-jerk reaction when I say this, but seeing his highlights, man, it will remind you of Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, man. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my, hey,
Yeah.
that's a big name, bro.
Right,
Sweet pea.
but at the same time, Sweet Pea did that, you know what I'm saying, what he was doing amongst elite fighters.
Oh, for
We
sure,
haven't
man.
seen him do that amongst elite fighters yet. So
Yeah,
I
for
think,
sure.
so that's why I think that they may cause a knee-jerk reaction, but just looking at the style, the showboating and everything like that, though, that's what put me in the mind of.
Hey, that's what's up, though, man. Hey, but any final thoughts on boxing?
Nah, I just, hey man, put the fight, like they say, put the fight on, man. I'm ready to see it. Put the fight
Hey,
on.
yeah, man. We definitely gonna talk about this fight after the fight. So
Yeah,
those you guys be tuned
Saturday we
into that.
loaded,
Definitely to
man.
that. That's this weekend too. So we probably do a little special,
I,
man. If you
yeah, I
down with
got
it,
work.
Greg, let's do it.
Okay, if
Okay.
I'm still in town, yeah, man. We got Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
then we got on the fight, man. So I'm definitely gonna be locked in. You hear me?
for sure. So our
I might
final
not be back
topic
in
of
town
the
for the. I might
go
not
ahead,
be
go
in
ahead.
town
Finish
for
what
the
you
Super
say.
Bowl now. Now I'm about to say I might not be in town for the Super Bowl or whatnot. I got to get back on that road or whatnot. But I may be able to pull some strings or whatnot. It depends on how everything go. But yeah.
Oh, hey,
But
hey, for,
you
for
know,
sure, man.
hey,
We gonna figure something out though. We always do.
right, right.
So our last topic of the night, man, NBA trades, man. You know, this year it's some big names out at the trade deadline. You got guys like Giannis, Ja Morant, Zion. All these guys look like they could be on the move trade deadline, man. And you know, just reporting, like I said last night, they were saying that Giannis is they're already the Giannis and Bucks are already fielding offers. So it's looking like
Right.
Giannis might be out of here before the end of the season. Ja, we've already heard speculations by him, and then Zion recently just lost his shoe deal, from my understanding. So man, I think the
Wow.
Pelicans got to start really looking at how they're gonna move this kid, man. So Greg, I'll let you go, man. What your thoughts, man?
I think, man, Giannis' situation is unfortunate, man. I think, man, when Giannis was like, his time at Milwaukee, man, this is one of the things I think Milwaukee should have did. What they shouldn't have done. I think they should have never let go Drew Holiday, man. You got to think, man. You that took a lot of wear and tear off Giannis, man, having him over there, man. Where you can have somebody to facilitate, man. You got a 3 and D dude over there, man. Well, I'm not gonna call him a 3 and D dude, but you had a pretty, like, Drew Holiday is an all around player. You get what I'm saying? But he specialized, he can facilitate and he got a three ball, and he's a hell of a defender. So, he was, to me, he was one of those dude that was an unsung hero of the finals, when they won. But like I say, man, I guess they feel like, they still had Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis and those dudes that they could run it back. But man, you gotta, man, he was a key ingredient over there. And I think a lot of times, man, these franchises, they fail these players or whatnot. When you do not, when you take away certain players, we don't, and it's the same with Boston. You see what happened when he went to Boston or whatnot, man. He was a key contributor. You know what I'm saying? When you let go Marcus, when you let go Marcus Smart, you know, um, we could look at Chris Porzingis or whatnot, but I mean Chris Porzingis was hurt most of the time. I mean, we know he can score, we know he can come in and add flavor to the team, but at the same time, man, having Drew Holiday, man, he was a key piece, man. So I think that's what one of the things, man, that stuck out to me, man, when you look at the Bucks and them spiraling down. You let go him to bring in what his name is, man. I can't think his name right now.
Damian Lillard.
Dame. Yeah, you to bring in Damian Lillard or whatnot. Not saying it was a bad move, but for that team, it wasn't the best move or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? It's like, you went for the players with all the bells and whistles, you know what I'm saying? And y- he wasn't what was needed for that team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like when you have a team, man, you can't have two We don't want two Steph Currys on the team. You need a Draymond over there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want two Michael Jordans on the team. You want a Scottie Pippen. You want a Dennis Rodman. You know what I'm saying? So this is what a lot of these franchises they fail to neglect. They think that, okay, these player, I add this player, it's automatic hit and run. You know what I'm saying? And that's not always the case. You need other players on your team. You need different types of, skill sets on these teams, man, in order for these teams to flourish.
I agree with you, man. I also too think when you look at the Giannis situation too, man, injuries played a big portion of why this thing didn't work. You know, Damian Lillard got hurt. Then you had your boy Chris Middleton, he got hurt, and it just seemed like the chemistry after even losing Drew Holiday, along with injuries and things like that, man. It just seemed like this Bucks team was never really the same after that championship, man. They just
Right.
got worse. And then you bring in Doc Rivers, and I don't know how he keep getting the damn job. And it
I,
just
well, I
I don't
understand
know,
how he
man.
get a job. He's not incompetent, but he always get the good. I don't, man. Listen, man. I
Look,
don't know
hey,
who he got dirt on. He always get the best jobs and underperform. Like he got it. Like how I talk about the San Antonio Chargers. He have to be the NBA coach version of the San Diego Chargers. You know what I'm saying?
right,
He get put in, now. Although granted he do have a championship, but he get put in some of the best situations, and he don't make the most out of these situations.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So he's one of those dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, um, like he can make affirmative action look bad. You know what I'm
For
saying?
real,
Because he's granted multiple chances and he have
for
a
real,
lack of
dog.
success with that.
For real, dog.
So
He do, man.
and it's I hate to talk, I hate to talk bad about the brother, but we talking sports. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm not talking about him as a person. We're talking sports. He has been one of the dudes that one of the most underachieving coaches in 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 sports in the last couple of years, man. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
for real. He's
So
underachieved very bad in great
right.
situations, man. And
And and when he left Boston, right? That was like that was one of the things that stood. I was like, damn, he left Boston or whatnot. Why didn't he just rebuild? You know what I'm saying?
right.
But at the same time, he went to a team where, it didn't pan out. It didn't pan out. So it's like, and it's not me saying that he don't deserve a job or whatnot, but sometimes, man, you have to stop looking at the flashy names, and sometimes you have to go at somebody, a young and coming guy that's on the rise or whatnot. So, or sometimes you have to stick with the guy you have. You know what I'm saying?
Let him
Like,
figure it
I
out.
commend the Heat, man, for sticking with Eric Spoelstra, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it don't work, but you know what Eric Spoelstra is capable of or whatnot. So they stick with him, and I commend the Heat for doing that. You know.
Yeah. I agree, man. So what do you think some spots that Ja may I'm not Ja, I mean where you think Giannis might end up?
I think one of the biggest names. I don't know why my nose is. One of the biggest names they've been talking about is the Miami Heat, man. They talking about the Miami Heat. They talking about the Golden State Warriors. So, I think being at the Heat, man, that can be pretty appealing or whatnot. You have him and Bam Adebayo in your backcourt, man. I think that'd be a nice fit, man. That'd be a nice fit, and we know that, man. One thing about Sposa, man, he know how to get the best about you.
There you will. Yeah, I think
But
that
what?
I think the Miami fit is probably a good fit. But I think the only thing that makes me look at it, he may not come to Miami would be the simple fact that Pat Riley, man, he gonna try to get a deal, and I think the Minnesota Bucks know, hey, we got they. I think if forget Geek Freak, the Greek Freak, I meant to say, you're gonna have to at least give at least at a minimum at least 3 first round draft picks. At least minimum, at
Yeah.
least 3. Know what I'm saying? And then and then on top of that, we're gonna have to get a player. So we can't get no sorry player. We're gonna have to get at least like a mid-level player, like a starter, maybe a guy, a bench, French six type player, 6-man type player. Dog, it's gonna be a lot. And I think with Miami, how much they're willing to give up. I mean, we heard the stories about that's why they didn't get Dame Lillard because they didn't want to give up certain players. So
Right.
I think going to Miami, I think that would be one that I don't think he would. I think Golden State does make a lot of sense. They'll figure something out.
I
You
would
know,
say this though, man. If I'm only giving up 3 first rounds and a one player, and it's not Bam and it's not Tyler Hero, I think I roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think even with that, you still gonna have the core pieces on your team or whatnot. You got to give up something. You
right?
know what I'm saying? But you're not giving up a king's ransom like that. I 3 first round picks. Here you go for Giannis. You know, generational talent. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? And he's 31.
Yeah, you still got
So
some
I
tread on the tires.
right. So I take that chance or whatnot. You know that he's a guy that you can run your offense through. You get what I'm saying? Um, you got Bam Adebayo as your second option, him or Tyler Hero. You know what I'm saying? You got shooters on your team. That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Hero, he's a shooter. So that is that. So that would be the thing. That would be you got defense. man, you gonna have an elite front court. So I think I pull that I make that move, man. If they even have to give up that much.
I think most likely I would like the Golden State move. I think it fits better for Giannis. And I think, when you put him with a guy like, Steph Curry, and then now, Giannis, the scoring aspect, he takes a load off of that. All I gotta do is just roll rash to the rim, and play within the system. I mean, I think, man, this really can really, set Golden State back to where Curry can at least run it back and maybe go get two more chips. You bring Giannis there, man.
Right.
That's but what you give up, I think you'll have to at least give up Draymond Green for Giannis. Think
Oh
you
yeah,
at
you
least got to give
definitely
up Draymond for that. Because he's gonna be a big part of your offense too. So you get a new big three in Steph Curry, Giannis, and you say Henry. What Jimmy Butler.
right.
Man, that's a nice little combination right there, man.
Dude, Draymond, but he Jimmy Butler out for the season.
He out
But
for the
do
season. That's what I'm saying. So
do
he out.
Draymond Green got a no trade clause in his contract?
Hey, if you can get
Probably.
Giannis, I wouldn't give Giannis, Draymond, your ass gone. You
No, I'm saying,
already
but if he got
halfway
a
out the door any damn way.
if he
Like,
got a no trades clause in his contract, I'm not for sure though. I doubt that he probably have one. I don't think he could though. You get what I'm saying?
gotcha.
He probably because he probably feel that, hey man, y'all not gonna just trade. If you got to think, he got a big contract. You
Yep.
know, he got a big contract.
But
So, he probably like, hey man, if I go anywhere else, you know, I need to go somewhere that I want to go at.
right. But you
Then
go to
too.
the Bucks. Say you go to the Bucks, they paying honor your contract. Uh, hey, now you can now this your team. Hey,
Right.
it's some incentives. No Draymond, you say you that dude. Now, hey, now you ain't got Steph, you ain't got Clay. You got this is your team. This is your team, Draymond. This is you the guy. We gonna
I
see
don't
what you can do.
At Draymond age, I don't think he's concerned about trying to be the man of a team or whatnot. He's pretty much, the field in his role or whatnot. He pretty much know, hey man, this is my lane. I'm the glue piece to this team or whatnot. He never tried to, like I say, even at Golden State, he never tried to take over, be the man of the team. Hey man, I'm gonna play my role. He's an elite role player.
Oh,
And so
I
but I think that but at the same time, if you Milwaukee, you got to ask yourself this. You know, will you rather have a draft pick or will you rather have a Draymond Green? You rather have a draft pick or Draymond Green? Me, I probably would take the draft pick because Draymond Green don't seem like a team that he's going to be want to be on a losing team that much longer, or a team that's going through a process.
I agree. I agree. I just threw that out there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because if that Golden State one of those teams that has been talking about trying to push for Giannis, I'm like, well, somebody you ain't gonna be able to keep all three of these guys. Like they gonna want one of them three either Jimmy Butler, like even though I know he's hurt, but
yeah,
like Steph, or we know Steph ain't going nowhere, so it's either Jimmy Butler or Draymond, one of them coming in that Giannis trade if they was to
yeah.
get Giannis. Like it had to. It got to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So let's talk about Ja Morant. So he's on the trade block too as well. And teams like Minnesota and LA seem like some of the teams that it may be prime spots for Ja Morant. So,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that, Greg?
Minnesota, LA. LA wouldn't be no bad fit, but it's like what they gonna give up. You know what I'm saying? Um, you talking about the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, that wouldn't be no bad fit. That'd be an ideal situation for anybody. But it's like, what is the Lakers willing to give up for John Morant? You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at Minnesota, if I'm giving up John Morant, man, I'm looking at, hey man, hey, I need to get Ant Man from over there. You did what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's gonna be pretty expensive, whatnot. He's gonna be pretty expensive, you know.
Yeah, man. I think it's some situations out there, man. I think where it could work. Probably most likely I would say Minnesota probably be the best bet out of those two, if it had to be between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Lakers, I would say the Timberwolves. They probably have a little bit more capital, draft capital, things like, the Lakers, man. They've traded so many first round picks, and I think they just not getting their first round picks back. Like
Right,
2027, they get that's their first pick back. But I think that might be able to be sent in the trade. But I mean, I just think there's more, resources they can acquire from a Minnesota team to get Ja. And I think if you get a guy like Ja and you got Ant Man on the same team, man, you know the possibilities is crazy, man. They could really do some damage in the West. But it
right,
all depends on how Ja mature, man. He got to grow up, man, at some point.
right. Exactly.
You know.
Absolutely,
So uh, we got one more trade to talk about. Zion, man. I
man.
feel. I mean, for Zion, for me, bro, it's like, bro, you had all the talent, but you just can't keep your. All due respect, you can't keep your dick in your pants, man, and it's costing you your fucking NBA career, man. You lost a deal. I think the Nike deal he lost because of some allegations of some charges, and now the New Orleans Pelicans got to make a decision. Joe Dumars now is the general manager, and I think that's a hard decision because you come over there to think you're gonna be working with the franchise Zion, and it just seems like you know it's time for a change, man. You're gonna have to. But the thing is, who gonna believe in this kid, man? Who gonna
Right,
give him a chance? That's the thing. We see the talent there, but I mean, I think Zion might get traded before the trade deadline. Don't be surprised he's one of those guys to get traded before the trade deadline.
right. Oh man, it's kind of crazy with Zion because his biggest thing staying on the court. You know what I'm saying? So you
Exactly.
gotta also ask yourself, like, who's going to take a guy, you know what I'm saying, and what they're willing to give up for somebody that, that can't stay healthy. We know the talent now, he can play, you know what I'm saying? He when he's on the court, he's one of the best players on the court. But when you know what I'm saying, that's when he's on the court. Um,
Oh man. So man, any final thoughts on the NBA?
nah,
Let's go into our last segment is the rivals and departures, man. I got a rival and departure I want to start today, man. So it's kind of like a rival and it's part of the departures too. So it's kind of like both in a sense. But I want to shout out Shadur Standards for making the Pro Bowl, man. As an arrival, man. But in coming with that, it's kind of like a gift and a curse because it's like, yeah, you got to the Pro Bowl, but hey, we know statistically you didn't have the greatest of year. But it's the Pro Bowl, and they trying to sell, man. They trying to sell tickets, and you a name a hot attraction. So salute to going to the Pro Bowl, man. I just, you've been getting a lot of hate, man. So hey, I ain't gonna hate. Hey, you got in the Pro Bowl, bro. Do your
it
thing, man.
to me, I had to like, well, damn, was it anybody else that was qualified? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to see him make the Pro Bowl. I'm a fan of him, but at the same time, it kind of dilute the Pro Bowl process or whatnot. When you put a guy like Shadur Sanders in, that really didn't have the best season or whatnot, that was, played only a few games, showed flashes that he can be a starter in the NFL, but also had some had games where he didn't look too good. So it's like, it kind of dilute the the Pro Bowl or whatnot. But at the same time, I'm still happy for him. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm gonna take it, all day long. It's a win.
Right.
Um, right. But that was your arrival.
Not my rival, yo.
Oh, okay. My arrival, man, is Shador Sanders for scoring his Nike deal. Think he got one of the richest Nike deals out right now. So and I think that will help with his situation, man, as far as him, especially with him being on the field, man, um, with him being able to be the guy that they focus on as far as being the starter of the team or whatnot. To have a contract like that there, and being on the bench is pretty unheard of or
Right.
whatnot. But shout out to him though for making that, for them making that happen, man. Him getting that contract. So salute to Shador.
That's what's up, man. And my departure this week, man, Florida State, man. No.
Damn, what we
I
did
gotta
now.
give Florida State football, you know, the departure. This week they dropped the schedule for the upcoming 2026 season, man, and it's sad, bro, because I know that this season is not going. I don't think we're gonna have a great season. You look at some of the transfer portal guys that we're bringing in. We're not bringing in a lot of good power guys, man. I mean, I don't know what Mike Norvell's doing. When you look at guys what Duke are bringing in, they bringing in big guys like Mensa, quarterback from Duke, Miami. They lock and reload it, and they're ready to run the table. And then you look at their schedule, it's like this team probably can go undefeated, Miami.
Right,
Um, so it's just like Florida State, man. I don't know, man. It's just like I don't know what we go from here, man. As fans, bro, because this season might be a rough season this year, man. Really might it
right,
might be like the 2-10 season, bro. But it's not looking good for Florida State.
right. I think a lot of people they looking for Mike Norvell to fail this year, man, because they really tired of him or whatnot. And if he, a season like next year, subpar season, I think the Mike Norvell experiment will be officially over.
Yeah, hope
Yeah.
so. If it don't get it done, man, I mean, I don't lost all faith in him, man. At this point, so I mean, you're gonna have to surprise me at this point.
Right. And you gotta start seeing maybe like Gus Malzahn or whatnot. I don't think he would be a bad fit for a head coach.
Right. I think Jimbo going to come back though, man. I see it in
Jimbo.
his eyes. I think he really want to come back to Florida State and make things right. Because I really don't feel like he want to leave Florida State, but you know what I'm saying. That money, it was
Jimbo
A&M was
wanted to leave
talking, man.
Florida.
They, you know what I'm saying, and
Jimbo wanted to leave Florida State.
I
He
don't
make
feel
it
like he
sound
wanted
good.
to, and it's hard. I felt like the money. Yeah, you gonna leave Florida State. They paying me all this. You know what I'm saying? About what they about to pay me at A&M, but I think his heart was always at Florida State, man. It just seemed like lately. I don't know if you've been watching the ACC network, man. Jimbo been in his bag lately though. He been talking that shit on the network.
Yeah, I seen when he was talking about how the little situation went with the coach left. Who he was talking about?
Lane
The
Kiffin.
coach. Right. So, how he was talking about with that situation. No, was it Lane Kiffin?
It was
No,
Lane
yeah,
Kiffin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was talking about that situation. And I understood he was saying, but at the same time, Jimbo, like, man, you left Florida State. You know what I'm saying? So I
Like
mean,
you
this
ain't
this
dissolved from this shit because you did the same
right.
damn thing.
You did the same thing. Now, granted, you won a national championship with us, but the fans was displeased. I didn't want Jimbo to go. I went, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the fan base was displeased in him. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So but I understood how he was saying, like, okay, he did what he did, but it's levels to it. Yeah, he had a point. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you let now, like I say, did he want to leave? Yeah, he did. Now, at the same time, I would say this: Jimbo did what he felt was best for him in his situation, and I can't fault a man for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But like for him, when he come back and say what he say, you know, do I agree with he wanted to leave? Yeah, like yes, you wanted to leave. You was going after the money. You was going after a situation that you felt like that was better for you, that you feel like you can win in. Do I fault you for that? No, you at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. But I'm gonna call it how I see it at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And you can't fault me for that.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
man. Any final
but
thoughts, man? With your
my de- my
the
departure
departure? Yeah,
this
yeah,
week.
yeah. The departure. I'm sorry.
My departure this week is the NFL Hall of Fame.
Mm,
Bill Belichick, he got snubbed. Anybody, a blind man can see that he should have been a first, you know what I'm saying, a first ballot Hall of Fame or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It kind of take to have him get snubbed from that, it kind of take the prestige off the name being a first round ballot Hall of Fame or whatnot. You get what I'm saying?
right.
So I think that, man, that's something that should be examined right there.
I agree, man. That right there was tragedy, man. So, man, that's what it is, man. But final thoughts, Greg.
Yeah, man. Salute everybody that came in and check the show out, man. Even if it went for a few minutes, know it's a work week, you know what I'm saying? It's a school night. It is what it is. But we appreciate all our viewers, man, for people locking in. Hey,
Hey, we thank y'all, man, for all the love and support, man. Subscribe to Greg platforms on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, It's scrolling down at the bottom of the banner of this screen, man. All his social medias. And check out my social medias as well, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning into the show, man. It's your boy Joe.
This your boy Greg.
And we out. Peace.
Yeah.